This is what you call discipleship. Filter. Filter. Separate. Separate the surface from depth. Separate half-hearted from the wholly consecrated. Filter. Christian Service page 41 says, it's a solemn statement that I make to the church that not 1 in 20 whose names are registered upon the church books are prepared to close their earthly history. And if God were to come today, she said, they would be as verily without God and without hope in the world as a common sinner. Can you imagine? We coming to church and making so much sacrifice and giving of our time, our means, our efforts, exposed to knowledge, exposed to truth, exposed to light, exposed so much sermon and revelation, and we end up lost equally as a man who never put foot in the church. Can you imagine? Well, during this full time that we stop playing church. I'm talking to myself, you know. I'm talking to myself as well. It's full time that we stop playing around with our Christianity. Because we're going to end up the same place as a man out there who has nothing to do with God. The homosexual and the warmonger and the murderer and the adulterer and the Sabbath breaker and the rum drinker who have nothing to do with, we're going to end up the same place if we're not careful. There was a time in Jamaica when there was a police officer. He was in Clarinda. At the time when I heard about him, he was working in Clarinda. And prior to he coming into Clarinda, the crime and the violence in Clarinda, especially in Mayben, was out of whack. The criminals would have a field day in Mayben. And Clarinda by extension. I don't know if Sister Mirage is aware of the situation. And when he came into Clarendon, he was a fierce police officer. Fierce. No mercy. He shoots and then asks questions. No mercy. And so the criminals now began to cover in their boots and stay in hiding. Because this officer was fierce. But you know what happened? One day, this same police officer that all of those criminals feared, in fact, he sent many of them to prison. Sent many of them to prison. One day, he found himself breaking the law. And guess what? He ended up in prison right in the very same cell of some of these notorious criminals who he placed there. And let me tell you something. Let me use the adequate, not English. They're not killing with lick inside here. They're not killing with lick in a prison. Inside you, what are you doing inside here? You Mr. Righteous Police Officer. You don't have no mercy. How you end up inside here? A law-abiding citizen. What you doing inside here? Man, they put on some lick on him inside here. And you know what? It tormented him so much until he took his very life. Torment him. Torment him. Brothers and sisters, This is serious. This is serious. This is serious. It's full time, brothers and sisters, that we stop playing figurines in God's church. Figurines in God's church. Huh? Oh, Jesus. Have mercy. Let me close now. In closing, in verse 6 of Psalm chapter 24, David asked the question. David, he made a statement. After asking the question, he gave the answer. Who shall ascend into the hill of the Lord, or who shall stand in his holy place? Hear what he said. This is the generation of them that seek his face. This is the generation of them that seek him, that seek his face. So those who will ascend, Elder Tim, those who will ascend, those who will go above and beyond surface Christianity, the superficial Christianity, the ritual Christianity, the mere going through the motion Christianity, flat spirituality, are those who seek God's face. God says, you will seek me, you will find me when you seek me with all your heart. Hello? You will find me when you search for me and seek me with all your heart. So this is just 1 minute prayer is not seeking God. 1 minute, 5 minute prayer every morning is not seeking God. Just flipping the pages of the Bible every now and then is not seeking God. A half-hour prayer and fasting every year or every 6 months is not seeking God. Coming to church is just coming to church is not just seeking. It's not seeking God. Just coming to church. It's more than that. This is the generation that seek him, that seek his face. In other words, this is the generation of those who are willing to launch out in the deep